I am Gicele Wray-Lindley. That is a tongue twister, yes. But some people call me Pastor Gigi, and some people call me Auntie GiGi. I'm what you call a serial entrepreneur. I am the essence of a hard-working woman. People don't believe I'm human, but I'm working. I am the founder and launcher of this new initiative called Mogulish to highlight the hard work and the journey of some hard-working women of color. I wanted to inspire our young brown and black girls of what they can possibly be if they're willing to dream and execute. So you're gonna meet a mogul that's an Amazon service delivery partner. You're gonna meet a mogul that is a bakery owner. You're gonna meet a mogul that is a child care facility multi-center owner. And I don't wanna give the rest away, but you follow me in this journey and you're gonna meet some amazing moguls that are doing some powerful things and shaking up the marketplace. Many people think that being a mogul is all about living in big houses, driving fine cars, taking their dream vacations, having a white picket fence, you know, like the big American dream. But people really don't see what really goes on behind the scenes in the lives of moguls. So this spring, I'm launching this show called Mogulish, More Than Meet the Eye. Follow me so that you can get the inside scoop of what really goes on in the daily lives of moguls. I was born in a country by the name of Panama. No, not Panama City, Florida. Panama, where is that? It's actually the Republic of Panama. It's a small country right in Central America, right next to Costa Rica, Colombia. Have you ever heard of the Panama Canal? Yes, that's the country that I was born from. I'm what you call an Afro-Latina. So I was born in a Spanish-speaking country, but yes, I am of African descent. My family and I migrated to the United States when I was 3 years old. So for those of you who ask, where's my accent? There it is. I came to the United States at 3 years old, but I was raised with very, very Panamanian family members. And so when we came to the United States, a little bit about my story, my mom was actually a bookkeeper and accountant, and my dad worked for the Panama Canal. But when we came to the United States to seek better opportunities, they actually lost their status. And so my parents, my mom, who was an accountant, she actually took a job as a homemaker. And so she was a homemaker for 18 years. And my dad took a job as a manager of a car wash for years of his life. Actually, my dad worked 3 jobs to send my sisters and I to private school. I was not born with a gold spoon in my mouth or a platinum spoon in my mouth. I am no stranger to poverty. I'm no stranger to experiencing days of lack. But one thing my parents put inside of me, that no matter where you are in life, you have the ability to change a narrative and change the trajectory of your life. And so I seen my dad work 3 jobs. I seen my mom work 2 jobs. And I seen them pursue what we like to call the big American dream. But those of us who come from different countries, we don't see it so much as a big American dream. We see it as our only alternative. Either we make it, we fight, or we go back home and we experience true poverty. So that's a little bit about me and why I work so hard. I was born in Panama, but I was actually raised on the south side of Chicago in the Inglewood community, or we call the 16th Ward. And it was here that I learned street life. I learned about the hustle and bustle of everyday life. And I've learned here that even though I was in this environment, I didn't like this environment. And I have the opportunity to do something totally different to make sure that my children don't have to be raised in this type of environment. And so we lived here for years until Daddy got a better job and he was able to move us into another community. And I was inspired just from the sacrifice that my parents made, that we don't have to stay in a condition longer than we expected. Everything starts in the mind. I can remember when I went to high school and My parents were pastors, and I didn't always have the most fashionable clothes. And so I used to not always look the best, and I remember being laughed and teased growing up in high school. But I remember one teacher that seen something beautiful about me, and all of the things that I used to doubt myself, to convince myself that I was not good enough. This one teacher convinced me otherwise. She sat with me, she taught me how to effectively conjugate sentences in English. She taught me about the principles of business mechanisms, of how to walk in integrity in business. And she just found an interest in me. And even after I graduated from high school and I went on to college and I went to grad school, she was consistent on the journey with me. Her name is Mrs. Howe. Unfortunately, in January of 2019, she made her transition and, she went on. But I made a commitment and I made a covenant with her and my mother that everything that they invested in, what they saw in me, that I would make sure that it would come to pass. One of the things that happened during that time was that my parents were forced to leave me with babysitters. And there was one specific babysitter whose son molested me. And so this place that's supposed to be a safe place became a place of trauma and fear for me. And so I lived many years with that dark secret of being molested, of being violated as a little girl, while my parents were trying to make an innocent living just for me. And so I had a decision around 25. Are you gonna allow that to enable you? Are you gonna allow that to stop you for the rest of your life? And I learned one thing, that sometimes people like to stay in broken situations because if they give them an excuse not to walk in healing. Because real healing and making a decision to walk in real healing, it demands a challenge. So I majored in clinical psychology, and it was a very difficult major. I was one out of few people of color who was actually, at the time, who were actually majoring in clinical psychology. My dream was to be a child therapist until God changed my path. And I would have never imagined, I just wanted to get a job as a therapist, as a social worker, and that would be the end of the story. I had no idea that God was going to make me a serial entrepreneur. And today I employ social workers, I employ psychologists, I employ physicians. I would have never imagined that God could have did something to a little girl from me from the Republic of Panama that grew up in Inglewood. But that just goes to show you that we serve a God that will use ordinary people to do extraordinary things. I had the epiphany of what I wanted to do when I was at 25. I had just finished my master's degree, master's in human service administration. Changed paths a little bit because my dream at the time was to open a non-for-profit organization offering therapy for children, right? And so at 27, my sister and I were on a trip in Minnesota, and I was sleeping. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I heard a name in my sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning, Shining Star, Child Development, screaming at me. And I woke my sister up, and I said, "Did you hear that? Did you hear that?" She said, No, I didn't hear that. And I went back to bed, and I heard the name again, Shining Star, Child Development. I said, "Did you hear that?" She said, "No, I did not hear that." "Would you go back to bed now? It's like 3 o'clock. You need to go to bed." I went to bed again, and I heard it in an audible voice. And I woke up that morning, and I said, that is going to be the name of my new center, Shining Star, Child Development. And so I'm the type of person, if I'm convinced that God said it, I'm going to go after it. And so I just decided one day to get crazy enough to just go out, canvass different areas on the south side of Chicago. I knew that I wanted to target families that were in need. I knew that was my calling. I didn't want to go downtown Chicago. I just wanted to go to families who experience what I experienced, or who have the potential of experiencing what I experienced. And so I just started to look on the south side of Chicago, and I got to a location, and I'm standing there and I'm like, wow, this will be a really beautiful place for for a child care facility. And when I looked, it was a short man standing outside, and he looked at me and I looked at him, and he goes, "Yes, can I help you?" I said, "This is a beautiful place. I would like to put a child care facility here." And he goes, "Yeah, the rent here is like, I thought some weird amount, like $3,000 a month. I'll let the owner know." I said, "Wow, I think I can try to find that money, and I would like to put a child care facility right in this location because this is a community that needs help, and I feel like I would be a great asset." So I'm talking to this man, and I'm talking to him with passion and conviction, and he smiled and winked at me, and I'm like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "I like you. And by the way, I'm the owner. You come up with the first month rent, the first month security, and guess what? I'm gonna let you stay here in this building months without rent." And so, as I said before, if you make one step, God will make two. And so I didn't have any money at the time. I went to my father's boss at the car wash, and I asked him, I said, "Mr. I won't call his name. I said, "Mr. So-and-so, I need a loan for $10,000 because I'm getting ready to start a child care facility to help my family." He looked at me, he said, "Young lady, there's something about your passion that I really like." He said, "Here's a loan. I want you to pay me back in 6 months." Gave me a loan for $10,000, and I never looked back. And that's how I started Shining Star. That was in 2004, and as of today, we provide services to over 400 families, and we employ over 100 people. And we have and operate 4 locations, a central office, and as recent as 2013, we launched a family service center where families can come. We help them find jobs, we help them with housing, we help them with counseling sessions, we help them to become productive members of society. And so it's amazing for me, it's inspiring for me. Every day I wake up and I say, "God, you trust a young little poor girl from the Republic of Panama with your idea of how you wanted to change this world, and you partnered with little old me to shift some things." And so I want to tell you that God is looking for more people to partner with to fulfill his purpose in the earth. My cousin was a janitor, and the word got out about us. We operated in such a level of excellence that we were forced to expand. Within 6 months later, we got another storefront that was next door, and we expanded. And so we went from 33 children to 56 children. Well, that still wasn't enough. We went from 56 children to 75 children. That still wasn't enough. We had to bust out the wall again. And at that location now, we serve close to 100 children at that particular location. And so, unfortunately, the old short gentleman that I love, that gave me an opportunity, that did not know me, did not look like me, by the way, did not come from my tribe. I opened in July 2004. He passes away in September 2004. But before he passes away, he signs a 10-year contract with me. And it's, as of today, I still make sure that I rent from this family, even though since then we've physically have bought 3 more locations. I still rent from his family to honor the legacy, because he's seen something in this little brown girl that did not look like him, but he's seen the passion in my eye. So we've had opportunities to purchase, but we stay there and we rent specifically to honor the legacy that he have left and for the opportunity that he gave us. So first of all, I didn't have any money. I was, fresh finishing my master's degree. I just had an idea. And so I did what I knew how to do. I started working the business, and this is where I think a lot of people, they kind of miss. You don't have to physically have the money. Business starts in your mind. Business starts with your brand. And so we run into crunches because we feel like business start with having the money. Business start at the time of conception. Say that again for the people in back, Gigi. Oh, that was good. Business start at the time of when it's conceived in your mind. At the time of idea, your business have just started. So those of you who are watching me who have a business idea, Congratulations, you're officially an entrepreneur. Hey, so I got the idea. I started working towards the idea. What do you mean by that? I started making a business plan. I started designing the color schemes. I didn't even have a location, but I had business cards. And I could tell you everything that you needed to know about the child care facility industry. I could tell you about the teacher to child ratio. I could tell you about the architectural structure of a successful child care facility. And I did not have an actual location, but the business was in my spirit. And I realized that it started at the time of idea conception. And so by the time I went to ask for a $10,000 loan, I already had the business plan in my mind. And so this man who's a multimillionaire, he asked me, he's like, so how can you assure that you can pay me back in 6 months? I said, look at my business plan. He looked at my business plan, he was blown away. And by the way, I already incorporated my business without a location. He was blown away. He said, oh, no, you're serious. And so I want to say to you, business starts at the time of idea conception. When the idea comes and it's conceived in your heart, you officially are an entrepreneur. So that's a little bit about the structure of Shining Star.
Beautiful. Were there any challenges working with your family at first?
Yes. Yes. So everybody got some of them cousins. The help that God will send, they won't be from your tribe. There will be no one that you are used to. They won't even come from your family lineage, but it will be who God sent.